If you've been playing Final Fantasy XVI, then you are probably very annoyed at a very specific issue regarding the game. I have been playing the game myself and I gotta be honest, the game is pretty much unplayable sometimes due to the motion blur effect that Square Enix for some reason added and didn't let players adjust the levels of it or turn it off completely. Well, that changes today because a new patch for Final Fantasy XVI has just released on PS5 that lets you adjust the levels of the motion blur, which drastically helps to improve the gameplay. Beforehand, without being able to adjust the motion blur in Final Fantasy XVI, the game was just so blurry, and every time you move the camera, it would be so unbalanced and unclear to see things. And don't get me wrong, Final Fantasy XVI is a beautiful game, but I don't think it's the type of game that a PS5 couldn't handle to disable motion blur on. Disabling motion blur should be a must for any game, because honestly, it just makes it nauseating to play the game sometimes. Some people don't mind it, but I think the majority of people would agree that being able to turn off motion blur makes games much more fun to play. On top of disabling motion blur, there is also a few more things they added to the new update. As seen on the patch notes, you can actually set the motion blur all the way to 0, which means that you can turn it off completely. So no more blurry motion when you're moving your camera, which is a huge plus. You can also turn off the camera from automatically following you while moving and attacking. This was specifically annoying for me because every time I would leave the controller for over 2 seconds, the camera would just auto adjust, and every time I attack or move around without touching the camera controls, the camera would just auto adjust for me. Some people just like to freely control their camera without it taking control for you. Well, now you can do that thanks to this new patch. On top of that, there is also a lot of new additions that came with this patch. For example, now you can change the maximum setting of the camera sensitivity for horizontal and vertical from 10 to 20. There are also 3 more controller layouts titled D, E, and F. They also corrected an issue that affected the stability of some menus, making it more quick to move around, making the menu system a lot more quick and responsive. Also, they corrected some text issues, and I don't know if I like this to be honest, but for some reason they added the hashtag Final Fantasy 16 when you take a screenshot or video clip for Twitter or YouTube. So basically on the controller on PS5, you have the share button. Beforehand, when you just took a picture or a screenshot or even a video of Final Fantasy 16, we would just have a very small logo on the bottom right, a logo of the game just to display it. But I don't know about this hashtag thing. Hopefully it won't be too distracting, to the point where players will just not use the feature on the PS5 controller and instead capture footage using their own equipment, which I think the majority of people are already doing that. Now, one of the disappointing things that people are saying regarding this patch is that they didn't mention anything about the performance. If you haven't been playing Final Fantasy 16, I mean, even if you just played the demo, you would know that the performance has a lot of issues. The game barely holds 60 FPS, and for most of the times it's actually below 50 FPS. The game lags a lot even in performance mode, to the point where some people are just using quality mode because they prefer a stable 30 FPS instead of an unstable 60 FPS. Hopefully we'll see Square Enix update the performance of the game in the future, so maybe rioting and complaining on social media might actually be helpful in this situation, because it will bring more attention and notoriety to the issue of performance in Final Fantasy 16, which is really a shame because it's an amazing game with some of the best cinematics I have ever seen. I'm telling you, if you have an OLED, you really need to try out Final Fantasy 16, at least try out the demo. The in-game graphics aren't really as nice as the cinematics, but they are both very clean. Specifically, the cinematics look absolutely gorgeous. So that's why I just think it's a shame that the performance of the game is so bad. If they don't have a fix for this, then our best bet is to just wait for the PC release and optimize the game that way within our own hardware specifications. So yeah, that was basically the patch for Final Fantasy 16. Do let me know in the comment section down below, are you happy with this patch? And are you also disappointed that they didn't address the performance issue? Leave it all in the comments, I'll be sure to check it out. All I ask is for you to leave a like. It does really help with the videos. Leaving a like on the videos means that more people will notice the videos and increase the interaction with the video itself. And as a plus, if you really like the content, then why not subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to never miss any future uploads. That's all from me now. I'll catch you next time.